Welcome to Calcast, your Create International podcast. God Network News, where we give you a new perspective
on events happening in our world today.
This is GNN.
This is God Network News, episode 181. Welcome, GNN fans, to another episode of God Network News, the podcast that tells you what God's doing around the world. Not what CNN tells you, but what GNN tells you is going on in the world. If you're tired of listening to all of that crisis network news and you want to hear what God's doing, well, give us a listen. Greetings to our faithful God Network News listeners. We are excited to bring you more great stories of movements that are happening amongst unreached people groups. Get ready for some fantastic stories of God's faithfulness, of God working even in this difficult time of COVID.
So then he said to me, "Can you come to my village and explain to our people, to my people, what you are teaching to me?" I said, "Yes, I can come to your village and explain and teach, gather the people, and we're going to see a day, then I can come." So then we set a date. I and Rafael, the Brazilian guy that worked with me, is part of my Brazilian team here. So I and Rafael and another Tanzanian guy, three of us, we went there to the village. It was very interesting because when we arrived in the village, it was more 200 kilometers far from my house, okay?
Wow.
The place that I am living. And they were living in the bush. I have a Toyota Land Cruiser. So then I got my Land Cruiser here. So then we got inside the bush. So then we found them there. When we found them, I saw some mix of emotion among the people because they didn't know very well about foreign people and what was about to happen on that days that we should be there. We took our tents. We sleep in the village for 4 days. We stayed with them for 4 days. We sleeping there, eating their food and teaching them. So then it was around 62 people. It was, in fact, exactly 62 people in the small village among that boy, families, relatives, and others around there, 62 people.
Wow.
So then in the first 2 days, we gathered under the tree and I start to teach them. I teach in Swahili, and they translated from Swahili to Maasai Kisongo. You know, there is Maasai and there is Maasai Kisongo people group. They are a mix of Maasai. It's like the Kisongo, their background is from Maasai, but they are not really 100% Maasai.
Okay.
Understand? They are more remote people. So then someone translated from Swahili, I was teaching, to Maasai Kisongo language. So then the 2 days I was teaching morning and evening and afternoon. And evening I was showing Jesus film in Maasai language because already we have the Jesus film in the language. So morning and afternoon teachings, telling them stories, and evening showing Jesus film. I did it in the first day, the second day. Okay. In the third day, was it supposed to be my last day with them in the village. It was really inside the bush. no reliable water, no electricity, nothing. Even phone network was nothing there.
Wow.
So then, in the third day, during afternoon, I start to teach about baptism. I was teaching about baptism, to say the importance of baptism and to give their life to Jesus. So everybody, 62 people, they came to Jesus. They
Wow.
received Jesus,
Wow.
and they dig a small hole, understand?
Yeah.
They dig,
Yeah.
and there is one few water, like a small line of water that was coming from from the mountain. So because I had some rain on that those days, so then the water that was coming from the mountain just filled the small hole. Then I baptized 43 of them right there.
You're listening to God Network News Podcast with your host, Cal Curtis. Look up our website at godnetworknews.com. Wow.
It was really amazing. 43 out of 62, I baptized at 43. And that guy that called Corduni, when he came out of the water, when I baptized him, he started about to change his name. So then he came to me and he asked, Paulo, he called me Paulo, can I change my name? Because his name, he said, because my name is a name that my dad gave to me because he consecrated me to the gods when I wake up, when I was born, something like this.
Yeah.
Then I said, yes, you can change your name, no problem. So then I asked, what name do you want? Then he said, I want the same name of your name and the same name of that guy from the Bible that you told me in the histories. It was the Apostle Paul.
Yeah, that's great.
So then his name became Paul. The people from the community agreed to change his name. As I said, sometimes it's not only something personal. So then his name now is Paul. It was very interesting. When I came back to my home, he was in his village. When I came back to my home, I was already in my home. So then he was sleeping in his small house, small tent in the village in the bush. So then a man came inside to his home around 2 a.m. He told me this story, what happened.
Wow.
Around 2 a.m., someone came inside. He didn't know the time very well, but according what he told me, it was around 3 a.m. Okay? So then someone came inside and he said to me, Paulo, the man that came inside to my home, he was wearing white clothes. And I could see his face very well because his face was shining a lot.
Wow.
And he told me that man started to talk to him, and that man talked to him for long hours, long time during that night.
Wow.
And
in his language, obviously.
Yes, in his language. And he told this story for me. And he told that man was Jesus talking to him during the night.
Wow.
And Jesus told to him that Jesus will use him. He said, Jesus said to me that he will use me very much for his glory. So it was very interesting. In the another day, he just wake up. So then had a paralytic man in the village. So then he went to pray for the man because he was feeling that Jesus was with him. So then he was to pray for the paralytic man, the paralyzed man in the village.
Wow.
That man wasn't walking anymore from a long time ago, wasn't talking very well for a long time ago. So then he starts to pray for the man, and God healed the man from the village.
Wow.
So then
Praise God.
the man starts to walk in the village. It was something really, really amazing.
I bet. People
Yeah,
seeing him walking around.
yes, when I tell this history, something that really touched my heart, my life. So then we start to train him. I went there for the second time. We talk a little bit about DMM, about discipleship. Understand? I start to explain to him. So then his brother gave his life for Jesus for the second time when I went there, because for the first time, his brother, he was living in another village, but he was coming to his village sometimes. So then his brother, I baptized his brother as well. So then we prayed for them. So then they became the leaders of the community. I mean, the spiritual leaders of the community. So then that guy, now his name is Paul, he started to enter to his people groups, different villages of his people groups, and he started to preach. And already he has planted 8 different churches in 8 different villages.
Wow, that's amazing.
It is really, really something amazing.
If you enjoyed this episode, please consider donating to help us continue to bring exciting stories fresh from the field. Visit our website at godnetworknews.com and select the PayPal link on the right side of the page, or consider becoming a Patreon partner to receive access to more valuable materials exclusive to our members.